It really hurts me to my heart. I have to sit and meditate with God about all these things that's happening. It happened before in the days of Noah and Sodom and Gomorrah. The violence. And I read where a young lady, um, I guess her child was autism, and he did something, and the mother of the daughter that has the child wanted to keep the baby because the girl was being stressed out. The neighbors said they heard like the kid saying, "No, I'm not gonna do this anymore." She tied this baby up with about a whole bunch of belts with his hands behind his back. Oh God, I love children. Set the boy on fire and jumped out of the window and met someone and said that she needed a preacher so she can ask for forgiveness. Um, I pray for, but I know there's thousands of people praying, but there are more people in the world than it is people who are going to make it in. We need to go into prayer, please. When you know what, I repeat this over and over again, and I'm like, God, why? I mean, I prayed. A lot of people pray. These things are still happening to these children. They're innocent. They can't defend themselves. The animals can't defend themselves. The elderly people can't defend themselves, and they're getting raped, punched in the eye, swept up mouth, and things like that. And I'm like, Lord, you said pray the more labors come into the harvest. And I know that you said the end times would be really bad and things like that. I said, but we believe, we need to cover them with the blood. When we came to the Lord, see, I don't know, we're misled or something. Because even when I first got saved, I thought that, you live right, you do keep the commandments and things like that, and, pray and read your Bible, and communicate with people. But we don't really understand the race, because back in the day, in the Bible days, we're so different than how they did things. And we came in a later time, so we were only taught what the leaders taught us. We have to really get serious, because look, this is not about, it's good that people get a degree and things like that, but this world is not about my whole purpose of living or being born is to get my degree, pay my kids education, get a beautiful home. I live my life, and now I'm trying to retire, and I still love the Lord. We have to work. Somebody has to say that we must, well, Paul said it, Jesus said it, I must work while it is day, for the night cometh, no man shall work. I go unto the Father, and because I go, more works will you do. Works, people, works. Not just coming to church to feel something. Everybody want a blessing from God. That's fine. But every time we go to church, we look for a blessing. Like, who looking for a blessing? Who wants this and who wants that? God said he would do it. Oh my gosh. People, we are living in the time. God is angry. And you know what? I just want to read something real quick. In the book of Isaiah, chapter 9. Oh gosh, let me see. Chapter 9, verse 14 through 17. Therefore, the Lord will cut off from Israel head and tail, which is now, branch and rush in one day. Well, actually, even back in the day, in the 60s, 50s. I wasn't born in the 50s, but the ancient and honorable, he is the head. And the prophet that teaches lies, he is the tail. For the leaders of this people cause them to err. Preachers, where are you? Leaders, where are you? Ministers. These pastors have, I'm sorry. These pastors have a whole lot of ministers just sitting in the pulpit, sitting on the front benches. People, this is about work. We have to work. We're being deceived. The leaders of this people cause them to err, and they that are led of them are destroyed. Therefore the Lord shall have no joy in their young men, neither shall have mercy on their fatherless and widows. We look at these women getting beat half to death, these men, uh, children getting killed, young people killing each other, and God sees this. I'm, I'm trying to talk right because it's plastic. For everyone is an hypocrite and an evildoer, and every mouth speaketh folly, foolishness. For all this, his anger is not turned away. He's going to provide his anger, but his hands is stretched out still. He is still giving us a chance to get ourselves together. We have to turn to God. Preachers, we do that. You know what? People say this all the time, and we're still doing the same thing. Yes, they preach in the congregation, but you already brought them in. They're already saved. You need to send those ministers who are sitting on those benches out. Rotate. You can send 3, 5, whatever. Rotate every Sunday. Go out in the streets. Teach we need to teach everybody. But look, the lost tribe of Israel, we are lost. And God expects, I don't even know what to say, except for we need to do the works that we really, it's making me ill to my stomach because I see this tragedy every day. I see children getting tortured. One little girl, I think the aunt was beating her and things like that. I mean, the way it looked, these whelps on her looked like burn marks. And I looked harder, they were skinny. I said, this lady must have took a cord and beat that girl hard till she was bleeding and bruising. It's whelps all over, just like the book of the slaves, and you see the picture of this man's back, and it's like whelped up. It was a red blood. I mean, it was crisscross all over, worse than that, all over her body, beaten in the face. She had a swollen eye, and her brother was trying to rape the girl. The girl told her mother, and she beat her senseless. And I'm like, God, these kids are innocent. I'm covering them with their blood, but do they supposed to suffer like this? Because of our sins, because of everybody's sins. But how can people sit there and just go to church and go back home? Go to church, go back home. There's work to do. We're not working right. We're not taught right. God needs to tell us how to work. We are to go out and reach out like Jesus did. He went from synagogue to streets. He said they were like the Samaritans wanted him to go to their country, but it says he looked as though he wanted to go to Jerusalem. And they did not receive him because, he said, I must go to the next city. I must go to the next city. We're not working right, people. And God bless our leaders who had passed. Our pastors passed. They only learn from what they learn from their, but, it's more than just bringing, tracts and things like that. But we stopped doing it. We're going to church looking for a blessing. We always looking for something for God, and He said to go out, and people are dying. We can't do this by ourselves. A handful of people cannot pray by themselves. 3 states can't pray for the whole world. We can, and I do believe that God can move like that because even Abraham's asked God, if we find 5 people who are righteous, will you save Sodom? Yes, and will you save Gomorrah? But there's a lot of preachers online, and they're making videos, and I'm not saying that all of them get to see mine or anything, but I'm just saying, please spread the word. We're not teaching right. We're not being fishers of men right. We have to talk to the people in our surroundings. We're leaders. The pastors are in charge of the flock. But just like I said, they're soon to be trodden down, but I'm just saying, we got to reach out. We got to, our neighbors might be nasty and everything, but you have to pray for your neighbors secretly for God to touch their heart. And I know sometimes it's hard to say it for some people because how evil some neighbors are. But the only way that they can hear the gospel or listen or even have a soft heart, God can soften the heart, but you have to pray. And then the right time, then you can reach them. Just like, there's people that were full of hate. And even though the person was nice to them, they were still mean. But prayer and asking God to touch their heart and give them one more chance, turn them to be righteous. We have I was happy to read about this person was in a fierce gang, and he got saved and baptized, and I think he's preaching everything like that, and he was like in a so how did their heart get touched? Somebody got to get out there. A woman can't do it by herself, a man can't do it by themselves. We need more than one person. We need to be of one accord, and that means whatever the subject of going out there, Lord, lead us to give us what to say and give us the opportunity at the right time to go out into those places. God will tell you when to go. But we really, there's homeless people sitting in the parks and stuff like that. That's work. That's church. That's real church. I'm so sad. They're looking at this stuff, and I'm like, God, I know it hurts you to see these kids get beat like that, and these animals, and you love the animals too. You made them before us. It just seemed like our prayers not going anywhere. God, why? His hands are still stretched out. He's sick of it. He's sick of it, and sin is causing the innocent to be hurt. And then that will only get our attention to say, that's not right, that the innocent is doing, we need to stop the police from doing this, or we need to stop this and this. He's trying to get our attention. And I'm sure that baby who got burnt to death and the other little girl got thrown in the oven and baked, they're in the arms of God. But even though the fact of them suffering like that, going through that, it was a period of time that they were in pain. God, the only thing they can think about is, I don't deserve this. Why is my mom doing this? Why is my dad doing this? And this guy covered his daughter with gasoline and left her in the car, ran out and burnt her to death. When are we going to when are we going to wake up? It's okay to make videos, but we making, that's a fun thing for everybody. We really got to work. We got to go out, and sometimes they're not going to listen to you. I talk to people, even online as well. I try to, but I'm just saying this because I'm really crushed. I'm really hurt on the inside for innocent lives. God sees it. Don't get mad at God. He knows what he's doing, but it doesn't have to be that way. Satan ain't thinking about y'all. Satan's on a rampage. His duty is to catch you. He don't care about hurting people, babies. Don't matter to him. If that's what they're doing is torturing people in hell, why are they coming out here torturing people before their time? Killing them so they can go to hell. And then get tortured again. We got work to do. We got to get up. We got to get up. Spread the word. Not just hear it. Go spread the word. Because that preachers and ministers, evangelists, and saints have to go and work. This is why we're here. He gave us opportunity. We ought to be honored that we're alive. Yes, it's bad, but he says be separated. And because we're here, we have the opportunity to go to heaven. But we have to work. It's about working. It's about working. It's not all about looking for joy all the time. I had to really think about it. It took a long time. And I'm like, okay, I gave my life to you. What am I supposed to do now? What is my purpose? I said this a long time ago. Wow, we're supposed to work to the death. Well, I'm so tired and hurt. It's supposed to. You're gonna get your reward. And it's not just a reward. A reward is a mansion, all these other things, and peace and love. What more can you get from having a lot of peace? Yes, that's why it's a trial. And that's why Satan is saying everybody else, the world's having a good time, they're having fun. It's all going to get cut loose. You don't want to die forever. You don't want to burn forever. You don't want to be tortured forever. You're building up all your values in heaven. While you're doing things, your house is being built. It's now diamonds is being put in it. The more you do things, we can't. God still blesses you here, but you have to. He says, store up your treasure, which is in heaven, which is in your heart. Which your heart is connected to that. Nobody's gonna bother all your things. That's yours. It belongs to you. We're gonna have just living forever. Come on, people who see this, please spread the word. We're really supposed to work. We really do to the death, like all the rest of them. We can talk about Paul and the things they struggle and say, "Woo!" He said, "I fought a good fight." It's not always joyous to feel those things he was feeling, but he said he rejoiced in his infirmities. And when the disciples got beat, they rejoiced going down the street because they know their names is written in heaven. That you live, that you know you're pleasing God. You're gonna get all those things, but we have to gather as much as the people as we can to go. Just like the devil's gathering as much as people that he can to go to hell with him. Then when he's through with all these people who's worshiping him, you're gonna be destroyed. He hate you too. He's just using you. Okay? We got work to do. We gotta work to the death. Till you say, Lord, take me home. Give up the ghost. Your peace and your joy. I'm not saying you're gonna have peace being here. Just being in the presence of God. But we always think supposed to have a long life vacation until we die. I owe it to myself. I worked for 30 years and blah, blah, blah. That's fine. But in the midst, you're separated from your job now. It's time to go out. Reach out. You can't do it by yourself. Send some men that you trust. Send some women that you trust and get out there and work. We have to work. Because God, I mean, I'm telling you, you're going to see the power of God, people. You're going to see the power of God, his anger. And it's going to be, then people are going to say, when is all this stuff going to stop, all this destruction and stuff? And I've told you, I've seen a big earthquake, and that's what causes that orange tsunami I was talking about. I don't know if it's going to be ruptured by the mountain or man-made, or people, you can set off of whatever. And I'm just saying, or God. But I told you, well, in one of my videos, some of you probably haven't watched all my videos, but I was on this. I wasn't even prepared. I was like, my things, I have to get my purse, I have to get this and that. They were like, you better get on now because it's leaving. And I'm saying, what about the people? Because something was going to happen to the world. The world was going to get destroyed or something. And I got on this locomotive thing. That's all I can say. It was like this fast thing. And I was like, well, I got to go get my nieces. And they was like, you ain't going to have time. And I'm like, but they're going to, but I have to go get them. I said, there won't be no tomorrow. And that's when it happened. And I'm trying to tell you, it was a big, come on now. It's time to work. All right.